Hello everyone, and welcome to the September 2022 episode of Onward Lebanon. Onward Lebanon is a television show airing monthly on Lebanon's Channel 6 and is designed to provide viewers with an insight into Lebanon City Schools, our staff, our students, and our programming. I'm Isaac Sievers, Superintendent of Lebanon City Schools. I'm excited to join you every month to talk about our students, our staff, and what's going on at Lebanon City Schools that we think makes us different and sets us apart. It's an amazing program where we get to talk about what's working, how we're growing, how we're learning as a district, and I'm excited today to share with you some of our amazing staff and students and those that make Lebanon City Schools a great place to work and to learn. Our mission is to build community, internally among our staff and students and with our greater community. We strive to foster relationships in our classrooms, inside of our buildings, and inside the community and outside of our walls. Lebanon is an excellent example of what it looks like to build community. One way we focus on building community is to focus on our relationships within our school buildings, with our staff to our students and peers to peers. I'm excited today to be joined by Hope Squad. It's a great program that formed in 2019 at Lebanon Junior High School and our high school. It's a peer-to-peer suicide prevention program. It's an excellent example of how we're building relationships inside of our building. Counselors Leslie Marsh and Jessica Bacher were instrumental in formation of the program and their continued leadership and guidance behind the scenes. Hope Squad's funded through a grant provided by the Mental Health and Recovery Board of Warren and Clinton counties, and it follows a curriculum that emphasizes suicide prevention fundamentals, self-care, and anti-bullying. The program trains students to recognize the signs and warning signs of suicide, and also then what to do when those things happen. How do we act? How do we help those that are in crisis? It's an epitome of students working together to build community, and I'm really excited that we have this program in our school district and in our programs. We chose this month to highlight Hope Squad because it's Suicide Prevention Month. September is a month where we focus on how can we help those that are in need or in crisis, and suicide death rates in Ohio have continued to grow over the last 10 years. It's one of those crisis points that we see now coming out of the pandemic that medical professionals and mental health professionals are worried about the social emotional well-being of our staff, our students, people in our communities as we come out of the pandemic. And this is a great way for us to put things in place inside of our buildings that not only teach our kids educational fundamentals, but how to live in community with each other, how to cope and deal with the stresses and things that come in life. So I'm excited to be joined today by two staff members and two students from Lebanon Junior High and Lebanon High School. We have with us Mrs. Jessica Hadishell and Randy Hill from Lebanon High School. Welcome, ladies, to the program. And then also from Lebanon Junior High School, Mr. Josh Chastain and Cash Chandler. Welcome, guys.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
I just want to jump into some questions this morning and give you guys a chance to share what this program looks like in your building and how is it structured. And also, what are some things that you're seeing? What are some fruit of this work that's happening inside of our building? So we'll start with Ms. Hadishell this morning. How did Hope Squad get started?
So originally, Hope Squad started in Utah. They were seeing roughly 1 to 2 suicides a year for a 12-year span. And there was a principal who was significantly struck by the tragedy by multiple students. And so his thought was there has to be something we can do for our kids. There has to be something that we can put in place to help our students who are struggling. And so he and a couple of community members came together and they came up with this program. They created Hope Squad's mission statement, which is our goal is to prevent suicide through public awareness and education, reduce stigma, and serve as a resource to those touched by suicide.
Okay. And I think as it's grown, it's not necessarily just been because schools have seen suicide. It's also been a way to hopefully prevent that in our community and as well. So can you tell me about Hope Squad at the high school? How many students are in it? How's it structured there?
Yeah, so we have roughly 50 students in our Hope Squad. We have roughly 10 adults in the building who are part of Hope Squad with us. And so currently we have a class, and then we meet with our big Hope Squad, our whole group, about once a month. In years past, we met roughly every other week, and so we're kind of changing that up a little bit this year. But our class is small but mighty, but we're doing some cool things.
How many students are taking the class this year?
Currently, we have 8 students,
okay.
And so we like to call ourselves small but mighty.
Yeah.
And we have all 8 of them are very passionate right now about what we're doing and making a movement, and not just being there for students who have suicidal ideologies, just being students who can be there who understand what it's like to be a teenager in today's society, understand the pressures of today's society, the social media, all of those things, the bullying, anti-bullying, and so they're standing up for all mental health aspects, not just that suicidal ideology.
Yeah, so it's a great opportunity for us. One of the 8 classes a kid can take at Lebanon High School is Hope Squad, and so it's an opportunity for that to be regular, and we're thankful we were able to create that course.
Yeah.
So how did it become a course this year, and what do you do in a class? You've got them every day.
Yep.
What does it look like?
So we decided to create a class because we were seeing some inconsistencies. When we were meeting with our students at the high school, we were meeting during team or homeroom time, and we noticed that was also time other clubs were trying to meet. That was when students who'd been absent were trying to make up tests and things like that, and it was very important for them to be there for those things. And so we were able to shift it into becoming a class so that we could make it more immersed, more of an everyday thing. So we do meet every single day. We meet every morning. Currently, we have certain work days. We have days where we go over our Hope Squad lessons, so the ones that the Hope Squad program has pushed out to us. And then we also have days where we're having guest speakers coming in from different parts of the county, and then days where we're going to work. We also, in our future, have a day where we're going to be going up and working with our special need friends and reading and spending time with them, and making sure that we're looking out for their mental health also.
Great. Sounds like a great program.
Yeah.
How are students chosen for Hope Squad?
So for Hope Squad, at the end of every year, we have students write down names of peers that they feel comfortable opening up to, that they feel are good listeners and are trustworthy, and then we take that list and ask them to be a part of the program.
And then tell us how the process works. What happens when a student reaches out for help?
So depending on what time of day that happens, essentially we have a student who will go and they will talk to them. Our goal is to be there at any point in time a student is just need to talk, whether that's over anxiety and depression, suicidal ideologies, or just friend conflict, boyfriend conflict, girlfriend conflict, all of those high school things. And so they reach out to them. We have students who will go and they'll talk to them. We try to make sure that they understand if it is something that is serious, who the adults in the building are they are to go to right away. And just to be known in the building. So we've been putting a lot of things out through the hallways to make sure students know exactly who's on our Hope Squad, who they can turn to, and who can give them help whenever they need it.
Do you have students from each grade level
Yep.
To kind of spread that out?
Yeah, we've got roughly 10 to 12 per grade level currently. Yeah.
Okay. And then you have 50 students in the program, but you have 8 students in the class. Is that a choice they had to make, or an option that was given to them?
So it is. So if they're in Hope Squad, they have the option to take the class. With it being the first year, there was a lot of conflict in some of, especially our seniors. We were having issues with there are certain classes that are only offered certain bells of the day, and Hope Squad's just so happen to be that bell of the day.
Yeah.
And so that's something we're looking at in the future. And then other classes that kids were wanting to take. So it's only a single block. So if they take a double block class during that time frame, it eliminates that as a choice. Okay. So.
And then I saw last week on social media, my friend Mr. Chastain is on that a lot. But I saw last week that there was some sort of partnership between Hope Squad and the athletic department that's forming and working together. Can you tell me a little about what that is?
Absolutely. So Mr. Paintling, Keith, and I have talked a lot. He was a huge part of Hope Squad previously, and we had a lot of conversations about athletics and mental health awareness in athletics. Over the past couple years, if you look at college sports, there have been a lot of tragedies in college sports, and we want to make sure that our athletes understand that we're here for them too. It's not just for people at school, it's outside of school also. And so we wanted to make sure that we were able to tag team with them. It's also a great way for the community to be able to hear about us, because as you know, our athletic department is kind of the front door of our community. And so a lot of people will show up to athletic events. And so a lot of what we're working on right now is pertained around athletic events to make sure our name gets out there and people know who we are and how to contact us.
Yeah, Friday night at the football game, there was an announcement made about suicide prevention, and the information was given out on how to reach out for help. I thought it was a great way to share that, not only inside of our building, but outside of our building. So thanks for those questions and answers there. I want to ask Randy to jump in here from a student perspective. You know, thinking about it as someone, you're a senior at the high school this year. How many years have you been involved with Hope Squad?
So far, I was involved my junior year and now going into my senior year, so about only 2 years.
Yeah. How did you get involved? What made you want to do it?
So last year, it's kind of a sappy subject, kind of sad. One of my really good friends, Kenneth Wild, was battling with suicide, and he unfortunately completed that task that he wanted to do. And that really drew me to the fact that, wow, like kids in my school, this is not a big thing. It's not big enough. Like Hope Squad's not big enough. It's not reaching out to the people that absolutely need it. And we need to get in touch with those individuals. So that really drew me to, hey, let's get this thing going. Let's get the ball rolling. It needs to be pumped up. Like,
yeah. It made it much more real for you, and I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry for that loss in your friend group, but I think that's the thing that we realize we don't always know, what people are going through, and this is a way for people to have somebody they can reach out to and know that's there for them and help for them. So what types of activities or projects does the High School Hope Squad have planned for this year?
As of right now, we're planning the 988 whole football field on September 30th, which we got together with the marching band. They're going to form the numbers 988 on the field, on the center. We got with the cheer squad, who is going to hold up posters, insinuating Hope Squad. And then our entire Hope Squad will also be on the field for this event to showcase, like, this is how big we are, this is who we are. And we also got with those announcers for the game, and they're going to announce all the Hope Squad names at that time frame. So that's a big thing that we're doing. And then furthering beyond that, we just got with our Hope Mom. Her name's Donna. She works she's a pastor's wife at Urban Crest, and they have been funding most of our things that we need, and if we need anything at all. She got with us, and we are doing a drive, kind of like a donation. So we are planning on the entire high school to donate certain things, not just a food drive, kind of more over in everything. Over the past year, this year starting, the COVID lunches are no longer a thing. Like the free lunch, and a lot of individuals at our school did depend on it. Like that was their only meal for the day. So we are planning on doing like a warrior backpack for them and getting food, and not only food, but more like supplies that they need, jackets, socks for winter since it's quickly approaching. And we just want to make sure that they know like we're supporting of them. And then after that, we also talked about October 8th, there is a donation at Urban Crest for a food drive to pack up lunches and pack up food and stuff like that, which will be sent to a place across like the world. I'm not exactly sure what she said. But we're doing that to send it out to those who truly need it.
Great. So you mentioned something there that I was going to touch base on earlier, but it just reminded me of that. So 988, can you just briefly talk about why 988 is a number that we're trying to highlight? So 988 is the National Suicide Prevention number, and that just recently changed, I believe, this past July. Mm-hmm. And so we want to let individuals know 988 is not 911, but it is equivalent. So you have 911 for your really like needed emergencies. You are on the brink of, needing that assisted help right then and there. 988 is the number that you would call to say, I'm really struggling. I'm in the need of help, but I'm not to the point of I'm going to commit to something so seriously. Yeah. But I need to talk to somebody right now, and say somebody was in a situation where they were going to further that. Even our Hope Squad members could call 988 and say, hey, I have an individual that needs help. I need you to help me contact them. And that's where we would get our information out to and really broadcast it and Awesome.
show it.
And last question for you, why is it important that we have this program, that we continue to provide it for students at the high school?
Students at the high school, I feel, they're not heard. They feel as though their voices are really small. And even if they don't have a lot of friends and don't have a big friend group, or even if they don't talk to their families, they have somebody who will listen, because their voices do matter. And it's not just like they can go throughout their day and be like, I'm sorry, I can't talk to anybody. And oftentimes a lot of kids going through high school will feel very closed off to individuals and can't talk to anybody. So we want to have Hope Squad there to let them know you are not alone. And you will have friends regardless of how you feel. We are always going to be there.
Great. Thanks for that. Thanks for your commitment to helping our students at the high school. Thanks for doing that important work. So we're going to jump over to the Lebanon Junior High, the representatives that are here today, Mr. Chasteen. And something we'll touch on with you specifically, because I think you're our district trainer for this for a while, or been involved with that. But there's a program called QPR. So tell me a little bit about QPR and how is it taught to students at the junior high?
Yeah, QPR stands for Question, Persuade, Refer. Excuse me. And the easiest way to explain that is that it is like this mental health version of CPR. So I also train kids in CPR in my health classes, and so it's like recognizing the signs of sudden cardiac arrest. What do you do, and how do we like take care of somebody in the time from the emergency happening to getting them to a medical professional? So just like we train people in CPR, we're not training them to be a doctor or a paramedic. We're training them to like save somebody's life, you know, in that moment until we can get them help with a professional. QPR is teaching students to help recognize like the signs of a mental health crisis, you know. And so when they recognize that, we train them how to ask particular questions to like kind of assess the situation, just like checking for airway and breathing with CPR. And then persuade, we're persuading them to get help and then referring them to a professional. So like within our school, it's our counselors, Miss Bacher, Miss Marsh, or if it's outside of school, somebody that can get them help. So this is a heavy topic, suicide obviously, and especially for 11, 12, 13, 14-year-olds that we have at the junior high. And so teaching them QPR, what we're doing is like, how can you get a trained professional involved so you don't have to carry this weight around all the time?
It's a heavy burden.
Yeah.
But I think kids know, right? I've seen this in my own kids' lives. They can recognize something in somebody. And so how do we give them small tools to help get it to the right people is important. So can you explain the work done to create the Hope Squad at the junior high and who else has been involved with that?
Yeah, so it's really kind of fascinating the way that we set up our Hope Squad. I love the way that the process works. So we send out a survey in the spring to sixth graders at Berry, and we kind of like have their homeroom teachers give a little explanation of this is what Hope Squad is, and then they get a little survey that says if you had a crisis going on in your life, who are 3 people in this school you feel like you could go to? And we have them all do it right then. There's no campaigning, no nothing like that. They list the 3, and then we kind of look at the data, and those names that rise to the top, that becomes our Hope Squad. And the cool thing is we get kids that represent all different social groups, because the kids that are in band are going to go to somebody different than the kids who are on the football team and you know, whatever else. So when our kids come into Hope Squad, even though they're in the same grade, some of them don't even know each other. And so that's kind of cool. And I feel like that speaks to just kind of how, like, the legitimacy of Hope Squad, that it's not just the popular kids or whatever, it's people from all different social groups.
Yeah. How and why did you get involved with Hope Squad?
Yeah, so probably about 5 or 6 years ago, our principal at the time and one of our counselors called me in and they said, look, we've had like 3 students this past week that have expressed like suicidal ideologies, and we just don't really know what to do. We've heard of this program called Hope Squad. We don't really know anything else about it, but it's kind of like we got to do something. Would you be interested in being the advisor, you know, being the health teacher, mental health advocate? And I'm like, well, I'll think about it. They're like, okay, well, the training's like tomorrow, so can you let us know like pretty soon?
Think quickly, right?
And I was like, all right, I'm in, you know, being a strong advocate for mental health and just, you know, wanting to do what's best for teenagers. I'm like, this sounds like an important thing, so let's do it. And it's been great, and honestly, it's worked out a little bit different than what I thought it would be. The way I envisioned Hope Squad would be like, these kids are the eyes and ears of the school. Nobody wants to go talk to an adult. Kids will want to come talk to students about their problems, and sometimes that happens. But really, what Hope Squad has become is we're taking these kids that people are already going to with issues, and we're equipping them on how to handle that. Mm-hmm. And it's actually been a really great program.
Yeah, I got to see some of your training with your kids that day, and it's really just about forming relationships amongst your team, that they trust you because their peers trust them, and we're extending the work, the great work that's already happening with our staff. To point out that our junior high, high school, and Berry staff have all been trained in QPR as well. We're not relying on students to do this work. We're just trying to equip students with some skills and tools to also help in those moments. Cash, I'd like to ask you a few questions here. You know, How long have you been involved with Hope Squad, and how did that get started for you?
So I've been in Hope Squad, I'd say, for 2 years now.
Yeah.
I was elected in 6th grade by my peers, and 7th grade is the first year, but I've been around for 2 years.
What's it like in that second year? I mean, are you feeling more comfortable in year 2?
The second year, you feel like just a breeze. It's still tough, but, with these upcoming 7th graders, you feel like a big role model to them, and that you can help them out with things, and, feels good.
Good.
Feels good.
What type of activities does the junior high Hope Squad normally do, or what do you have planned for this year?
So at the junior high, in the mornings, we have Flex, which is where all Hope Squad goes. And on select dates, we learn about, kids will teach us, or Miss Marsh and Miss Bacher will teach us about new things, such as like how to deal with people, how to cope with stress, like all that stuff to help out other students who are in need.
Any way that you guys are working to get that message out about Hope Squad to your peers at the school?
So we made videos sent out to all teachers telling students, that Hope Squad is here. If you need anybody to talk to, we're here. Students also, if they notice anything, they'll talk to students about it. But yeah.
Yeah, well, and we also have a thing called Hope Week, too, where it's kind of like a spirit week to raise suicide awareness and prevention, and also just as a way to let the school know that we're in the building. So we'll do things, we'll hand out lifesavers to kids when they come in the building one day, and, we'll have Yellow Day for suicide awareness and different things like that.
Okay. So you've been doing this for, you're now in your second year. It's a program we've had for, 3 or 4 years now. Why do you think it's important that we have Hope Squad in our schools?
Well, once you get to the junior high level, I feel like that's the turning point for most kids, that you realize, they get mature and they can take note of their mental health. So kids start, school gets stressful in the junior high. So kids can start, getting stressed and panicked, and at-home situations take note on that. So it's very important to have it starting at the junior high level and even below, that kids, are now realizing their situation and what they're going through, and it can be tough. It can be tough.
I appreciate the work that you guys are doing. I was involved in a situation several weekends ago where a student on the weekend was contacted, and they were working hard to find solutions for their peer. And it was actually a peer that was no longer enrolled in our district. That had just been some things that that they had seen online, and so the students were taking time out of their time on the weekend to help a student in crisis, reaching out to the superintendent, the high school principal, whoever it may be, to find those answers. And I think that's where I began to see how seriously students were taking this, how involved they were, that somebody knew who to go to even when school wasn't in session. And I thought that was a great example of what it's like. I think one of the things that I think make Lebanon City Schools special is that students are known and they're valued, and that staff members care about them, not just because of the course that they're in, or the fact that they come and sit in their class for 40 minutes, or whatever it may be every day. But we have great people who care about kids. And this is a program that I'm very proud to have. I'm very thankful that we have it, because I think we are beginning to see this in society. In Lebanon City Schools, it's happening. That students are struggling with social, emotional, with mental health issues, and we are providing an avenue where kids are much more comfortable talking to their peers. And so I think it's a great way for us to exemplify this idea of building community. And I thank the four of you for your work in this. It's a heavy topic, right? I'd love to get together and talk about something more fun sometimes, but I think it's important that we show our community also what we're providing in our buildings is not just math, language, arts, social studies, and history courses. It's about how we help kids learn how to deal with problems that are real. So I hope that our community can see that Lebanon City Schools is working to be a leader in this way, that we're out in front, that we're partnering with other schools, that we have something that is helping kids and ultimately saving lives. We are extremely thankful for our staff members that lead this program and are committed to the growth and success of our students, and all staff members who have taken upon themselves to seek out ways to help in their own classrooms. And we offer a wide variety of programs. But this is one of those special ones that I think give us the ability to meet kids where they are and to support them through crisis. So at Lebanon City Schools, I'm thankful for the amazing staff, the amazing students that make this a great place to work and to learn. I'm thankful for their Hope Squad and one of those experiences that pushes us towards this ultimate goal of building community. I want to thank you for joining us today on Onward Lebanon. I also want to thank Joe Hackman and the staff at the Lebanon channel for their support of Lebanon City Schools. If you're out there today and you're watching this and you're in crisis, you need some support, I want to encourage you to text or call 988, the hotline. We also have inside of our buildings, on all of our classrooms and restrooms and the hallways, a Safer School hotline that students and staff can reach out to. That information is available on our website as well. And we just want to provide opportunities for people to get the help they need. We're going to wrap it up this week. I want to thank you all for being here. Thanks for Lebanon Channel for having us. And thanks for all of your continued support of Lebanon City Schools. Have a great day, and onward, Lebanon.